How on earth did we manage to lose the bye week? Let's get it. Let's go.
Introducing the Couch Rider Raven Report. Let's go. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out.
For some of you Twitter gangsters, this is just a hobby, original sports perspective. You can't stop me. Couch Rider Report, it's reflective. Please respect it. You will get checked, and your knowledge will be tested. I ain't the coldest Raven, but this is my show. Shout out to the Barry White of rap for the beat, though.
Hey. Welcome back. Welcome back to the home of original sports perspective from our couch to yours. This is your host, your couch writer, Raven Jermaine Lockett, saying, hey, I appreciate y'all coming through. Thanks for being here with your boy. For those of you who are not live, we still love you too. Do us all a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. And smack that bell so you know when it's going down. Because you know when it's going down. For those of you who are new, every Wednesday, 8:45 is usually when I like to have a show. But that is 9:45 Eastern, but I'm a Central cat. Because I'll be honest with you, big time Ravens fan, but we in Nebraska. It is what it is. Military brought me here. But my Ravens colors still bleed purple and true, baby. So, with that said, let's see who's in the room here. Guess who's on time? Brooke is on time. Let's go. All right, everybody else in the room, man. Pop in the comments, say what's up. And do me a favor, hit the like button as you pop in the room. Kenny D is here. Oh, Steelers fans. I haven't seen him all day. It's crazy. He says, what's up, Ravens flock? So, yeah, Kenny's a good Steelers fan, a good-hearted guy. We like him. Even though he talks a little bit of trash and ticks off two of our other fans in the room, Nana and Lisa. But we're all are welcome here. All the AFC North are welcome here. All NFL fans are welcome here as we talk about the Baltimore Ravens and how in the world did we lose the bye week and then get set up for a trap game? It's possible. I'm just saying there's some things that hopefully we get ironed out and we take care of business. But let's move in after we say what's up to who's here. Big Reg is here. What's going on, man? Hey, I know you're probably gonna talk about some wide receivers, but we'll get into that tonight. It's gonna be a little fun. I know Cam Root should be joining us sometime later. We're gonna look for him. We're gonna find him. It's gonna be on. It's gonna be a great show tonight. But before we get started, of course, we always got to go into our motivational moment. And when it comes to motivational moments, sometimes I just pull them off the internet. But I want to share this one with you tonight because let's be honest, we get greedy in this world. We do. We want so much. Holiday season comes around and, it's a time of giving. It's a time of being representatives of Christ and showing his love to those in need and to your family and friends. And of course, there's times when we get blessed with stuff. But just know that out of everything in the world that is here for us, we can't have it all. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? You don't want to be on an episode of Hoarders because you wanted everything on the TikTok. So just think about that this holiday season. Look for an opportunity to give to somebody you love or even somebody you don't. and to be that friend that you can be during this holiday season. I'd say, I hope I don't get sued by the church for this, but light the world with your example of Christ. That is your motivational moment for today. And I'll hop off the podium. My sermon is done. All right, let's get into it, folks. All right, so a special reminder, We do not need Devontae or Kadarius Toney. Y'all can let that ship sail. Please do. Kadarius was released by the Browns this week, and I hear people already talking about how he'd be a great fit in Baltimore. I do not care that Eric DeCosta right now, according to rumors, may be looking at the possibility of adding another wide receiver. I'm looking for the post on that one. Don't have that one uploaded. Yes. So according to Adam Schefter, they're looking for a fifth wide receiver. But the thing is, we got a few people in-house. I'm trying to figure as I do the math on this stuff. Okay. We got the top dog. We got Bate, but Bate might be hurt. I'm not sure. We got Zay. We got Aguilar. What else we got? We got Wallace. Devontae's sitting out there. Dayton Waves on the daggone practice squad waiting for his crack. Waiting for his opportunity. And then there's the other dude who's, we'll get into him in just a second here. But just as a reminder, we got dogs. We got guys. As Zay said, we got some burners, man. And you got to trust them. He said, we got real burners. He believes in his teammates. Why don't we? All right. So let's see what y'all got to say about that before we move forward. Okay. So Big Reg is telling the Steelers, congratulations on winning the division. I don't think that's happened yet. So thanks, but we have one of that facts. They have a very hard gambit schedule to run through before they think about putting up another banner for the division. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. So they just got finished handling the Browns because there was no snowstorms where Russell Wilson's moonballs weren't effective. So, of course, when there's decent weather, Russell's going to show. When there's a snowstorm, those moonballs would not be on target. But here it is. They have to take on the Eagles next. And there's some issues with the locker room, but I think this is a team that can pull those issues out and be just fine. So that may prove to be a problem for the Steelers. Then, of course, there may be some get back. There may be an opportunity to get our lick back with the, of course, with the Ravens on the schedule. It's a very significant issue there. We're not going to be a pushover walk in the park. And then, of course, they walk into their own stadium and invite the Chiefs into town. And I don't think the Chiefs are there for the Philly sandwich. They come to fight. They come to make it a very close game and to possibly get out lucky again. Yeah, although I know that the Steelers defense is really, really good. And I think them going against a Chiefs offense with a shaky offensive line like that, there could be some smoke in the city and they could come out with a W there. And then, of course, the Bengals. I don't know what it is about Joe Burrow. This dude is the most celebrated loser in the entire league. So when you're coming up against the Bengals, you don't know exactly how far or how – I mean, you know it's going to be a high-scoring game, but do you have the moxie to stick with Joe Burrow? So there it is, folks. That's the Steelers schedule. We know that they're going to be a pain in the butt, but hopefully they take a few L's and we take a couple of W's. I know we had to hire men, hire the henchmen to take care of the work for us, but it's something. It is something. So let's see. All right. So I don't know if Cam Rue's getting on the show. Let me see if he sent a message or not. He did not. He's probably walking his dog, getting his cereal in, or getting something to eat. Y'all know how this man do. All right. So we have some comments here. Everybody saying hello to each other. Gerald saying payback is coming soon. It is coming soon. Look, we're going to get our lick back. I know Lamar is tired of losing to the Steelers. He cannot continue to survive in this league when he can beat everybody else in the world, except for Pat Mahomes and the Steelers. We got to get over those humps, and we got to do it this year. All right. Big Red says, I'm going to be honest, I don't care to add wide receivers to the team anymore because John won't use them. Here's the thing. We didn't need this wide receiver added to the team. We never needed Deontay. It was just to shut y'all up because y'all kept bugging about Devontae and other wide receivers. We need a wide receiver. We need a wide receiver. Y'all see that when Tylan Wallace is in the game, this guy does what he is asked to do. He catches balls. He's good. He makes catches. The two starting wide receivers, they're pretty solid. When it comes to Nelson Aguilar, I think he's still a serviceable wide receiver. Y'all just got to look at it. Like I've said it before, I've said it multiple times. When we bring in a new guy, we have to figure out how they fit into our scheme, and that impacts things. It impacts people, and they want to eat. They want to know how they're going to be fed. All right. Gerald says, I believe. I still believe we can win out. And I think that is a reasonable expectation for the Baltimore Ravens, is to finish this thing strong. To finish knowing that we got 5 L's, we don't need a 6th. And this week could be a problem if we don't take this team in front of us seriously. Yes, I know they got Tommy DeVito there. Yes, I know the Giants have been the full-on whooping child for just about all the teams in the league, but they still managed to step in the ring and play a good game. They still managed to almost like carry it out with teams that they shouldn't be even in the ring with. All right. Good time. So I think we still got to take care of business. We know what our schedule is, right? We know what our schedule is because we got the Giants. And then, of course, we got the Steelers. I think we got the Texans. And then we finish out with the Bengals. Not the Bengals. What we finish out with? The Browns. We get to finish out with the Browns. Excuse me. I was like, we already swept the Bengals. We get to finish out with the Browns. But all of those, any given Sunday, we walk on the field. We ain't ready. If we ain't doing what we're supposed to do as runners, running that ball, setting it up for the play action, and taking advantage of that. And there can be some problems. Gerald says, I even heard Lamar's mom chewed Lamar out. Yes. Guessing that happened because he said it on an interview that his mom chewed him out and said, and Lamar said, I'm going to do my because he said, basically there were opportunities, there were running lanes that he could have been running through, but he didn't take advantage because he was trying to be the good teammate and work the ball downfield and find those guys that were open. But he said he's going to do his But I say, do you, Lamar? Do you? But of course, get that W. That's all I care about. So can't use someone who won't go in. That's a fact. That's a fact. I think we can use that as a turning point into what I wanted to talk about tonight, and that is Deontay Johnson. So, and Cameron, I'm sorry, he has an opinion on Deontay. He thinks it's a lot on Harbs, and he's talking about some of the frustrations of a lot of people that have with John Harbaugh. But honestly, that is the head of this machine here. That is the engine that runs this machine. Is it a well-oiled machine? Is there things that Harbaugh can do better? Absolutely. But when it comes to a fifth-string wide receiver, because that's what he is right now, fifth-string wide receiver, I know y'all talk about talent levels and all that, but this is a diva. This is a guy with attitude. This is a guy who's had a history of problems. What are you talking about, Couch Rider? Well, what am I talking about? I had to go look up history about this guy, Deontay. Here we go. Brooke, you always on the screen, man. What's going on? Okay. So to Brooks' words, can't use somebody who don't want to go in. This dude has been a headache for even the Steelers, and that's why he ended up going to the Panthers. So if you look here during the 2022 season with the Steelers, there were instances where Johnson displayed frustration on the sidelines. That's normal, right? He reportedly engaged in a verbal altercation with Mitch Trubisky at halftime of the game, which contributed to Trubisky being benched in favor of Pickett during that season. I get frustration. But getting a teammate benched after you're verbally going off to where you're having to be pulled back from another teammate, that's kind of toxic, folks. That's a little toxic. I'll let you decide on what that is. So that's example number one. Example number two. So there was about 12 different situations between Carolina and Pittsburgh where this guy showed poor sportsmanship, to where he showed he was a bad teammate, to where he showed he didn't care about anybody else but himself. And here's another one. This is from Adam Schefter. This is from 25 November 2023. Sources say Steelers Deontay Johnson got into a heated post-game locker room argument last Sunday with Mika Fitzpatrick. Sorry, that might be the similar. Yeah, this is where I got this information from. So actually, that was with Pickett. Getting it with Pickett here. No, sorry. All right, so that's two of the same. I don't want to go there. What I want to go is here. All right. So in this one, this is on the sidelines to where he was upset at a member of the Steelers coaching staff that Broderick Jones had to pick him up and carry him away from that staff member. You ever seen it to where you're having to carry teammates away from coaches because they're being so verbal? And that's just, I get it. You're a millionaire and you're trying to sit here and be coachable, but you're passionate about the situation on the sideline. Eventually, too many of these situations, they add up and you become a poison instead of being passionate. Think about it. All right, here's another one. Y'all probably remember this one. I'm not going to play the video because I'm not going to get jacked up here because this is a monetized video. By the way, if it is monetized, you want to go ahead and donate some money, have at it. Look, I'm about to retire. My check's about to get cut in half. So if y'all want to donate some cash to that flow, cool, whatever. But when it comes to sportsmanship, being a team player, if you look right there in the middle of the zero, that is a live ball. Meanwhile, during this snap, what happened was Deontay gave very minimal effort on blocking, first of all. Then when the ball went live, he walked right past it. I don't know if that was awareness or just I do not care. Whatever type of energy it was, you can see Cincinnati clearly recovered the ball and running it back, and he just ignored the entire situation. What type of teammate are we talking about here? Is this the guy that we want as a Raven? Is this a blue-collar player that belongs in Baltimore that's going to grind for us? Or is he about himself? And I've said this many times, divas and wide receivers, they go hand in hand, and this is kind of why we have a problem when it comes to some of our wide receivers. We even had an issue with Bateman recently because there's expectations when you are a wide receiver. They want the ball, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, at what point does it go from passion to poison? Think about it. All right, so that was that one. And this one. So we know about that. Walking next to the fumble. And the final one. Here we go. So during that brief tenure, I'm not going to read this all to you, but when it comes down to it, the guy was missing practices. Or he was practicing inconsistently. And he frustrated the entire organization. There's a reason we got him for cheap, because they knew what they were unloading on us was the same problem that the Steelers unloaded on them. Even Mike Tomlin knew that, hey, when it came to the Baltimore Ravens, there's bigger problems on that team than Deontay Johnson. He has talent. I'm not denying his talent. I will not deny his talent. I see my buddy Dame do a full-on 20-minute segment of highlights of Deontay Johnson and how his twitch ability, how he's able to break in on routes and come back to the ball properly. It's just his talent level is up there. But it's the Vicky Mendoza theory, folks. The Vicky Mendoza effect. Y'all ever watch How I Met Your Mother? You know what? You can't be that crazy and that talented. The crazier you are, the more talented they are. That's the Vicky Mendoza scale. So, you know what? Like she might, make out with you, but then she might key your car. She go get a aboue job and then she burns your house down. I mean, there's some problems here. We don't want them type of problems in our life, folks. So what I want you to know is that we got guys on the team already. If Deontay comes back and is a model citizen and he comes back to Baltimore and he says, I want to be on this team. I want to be part of this championship program and contribute in any way possible to show my worth. And that means playing special teams in whatever way he can. Maybe he can be a gunner, but he needs to go in there humble with his head low and be humble and be meek and represent for the Ravens like he needs to and go in when called upon, or he's gone. He's got 3 last opportunities to look at monetizing himself. 3 last opportunities because he's suspended for this one. So he's got the Texans, and he's got the Browns and the Steelers matchup. Those 3 opportunities is all that he has left to show his worth, not just to this team, but to the rest of the NFL as to why they should sign him next year. Or he's going to be working at Albertsons, folks. Let's just call it what it is. Albertsons, the home for former NFL players. At least that's in my book. I'm just saying. All right, let's talk about it. What y'all got to say? All right. We're going way up here. Okay, here we go. Talking about Pickens, another toxic receiver. Pickens is injured, but Mike Williams will fill the void. I think they showed that he's able to do that and did well. So Pickens might miss this game, but I think they'll be okay. And then Brooks says, "I'll never take any team lightly with how we act. Don't care if they're winless. I'm with you. Yes, we got to walk into the ring knowing that we're bringing a sledgehammer to a fight with an ant. We finna smash the heck out of this daggone ant. Bring that sledgehammer." And I say, stick to what we know. Stick to what we know, and that's running the dang ball. All right, Big Red says, Brooke, would you go in? I got to put these on. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little blind tonight. Would you go in if one of them wide receivers got hurt and coach still didn't put you in, but when you down and the game is over, he wants you to go out? It don't matter. You got paid money to do a job. The dude went down. This is your opportunity to shine. This is your opportunity to shine, to actually be the hero of this team. And you decide that you don't want to go in? How selfish is that? That is you above the team. That is why he got suspended, is because he put himself before the team. I don't care what his mentality was. You just didn't want to put me until somebody got hurt. Guess what? You're still getting oriented into the offense. We're trying to make things work for you. Now you got an opportunity to be a hero while bait goes down. They would have praised you. You'd have probably got a game ball, and we'd have came out with a W, and you'd have brought in some yards. But no, we had to go a different route, the disciplinary route, because you can't get your life together and get on the field. All right, here we go. We keep going. At that point, John can kick rocks. So that's the thing. There's a lot of people that is on John Harbaugh's side, and there's a lot of people that's on Deontay's side. I think when it comes down to it, John is the coach of this team. If John tell you to walk a mile, you ask him, what, you want it in boots? You want it in shoes? You want it, how fast? Whatever. You need to go. You need to go handle business. You are a player on this team. You are a key cog that got brought in by the general manager. You need to go to work. And if you can't go to work for this team, then don't be on the team. Brooks says he asked him to go in after Bateman got hurt. Can't cry about targets and then say no one asked you to get any more K, especially when you've been butt with the few targets you did get. There were not very many targets. And what happened with those targets, it wasn't glorious. It was not glorious. The only highlight he has is actually hugging Bateman as he gets the touchdown. So it is what it is. You got to make the best of those opportunities. And when you're clearly giving them, hey, go in. You are the guy now. You don't take it. I'm proud of Tylan Wallace for taking those opportunities. All right, so I'm going to skip down a bit. All right, so we're going to go in. Brooks says half of this fan base was calling MP a hothead, and they were glad he left. And then there were a few that were just mad because of the fact that him and Harbaugh didn't get along. We know what Harbaugh is. We've known what Harbaugh is since 2012 when he got into it with some of the bigger stars. We knew it when he got to the league. When he got his first team as a head coach with us, and he took on Chris McAllister, and they didn't hit it off very well. He took on Ed Reed and Anquan Bolden, and they didn't get along very well, and they had to figure it out. This is the situation they got to figure out. Harbaugh, at some points, can be more of a dictator than he is kind of the participative approach. So you got to figure out how that works. This is the guy who's trying to run this team. You can't sit here and run this team for running your mouth on Twitter. You know that. All right. That fall in line mentality is exactly why the Ravens not winning a chip no time soon. There have been many teams. There's 31 teams right now that were frustrated last year, and each of them may have had a different coaching mentality. And I think when it comes to however you run your ship, you either you run it a certain way. And those people who can't fall in line with that mentality, they probably going to figure out a way to get out of Baltimore, just like Hollywood. Hollywood did not like the coaching mentality of Greg Roman and John Harbaugh, and he went to Arizona, and now he's a chief. He couldn't deal with it, so he ended up going about his own direction, and that's fine. That's fine. But y'all got to recognize that Harbaugh's going to run his ship the way he runs his ship. There are going to be times when he's going to listen to certain feedback from his players. There's going to be times when he's going to allow them to be autonomous because before he wasn't, and now he recognizes the problem with that. But he's not going to be a pushover. We know that. All right. Bruce says he's the boss, whether y'all like it or not. Thanks, bud. All right. Kenny D says the Eagles game. The Eagles defense was stacking the box with 8. It was well disguised. That's why King Henry was kept in check. Yeah. And you have to be flexible. You have to figure it out. They're going to be like right now. If Baltimore had won that game, the Harbaugh haters would be hushed. Y'all wouldn't even go in. Y'all wouldn't be going crazy right now if Baltimore had won that game. Every time Baltimore loses, of course, the media loses their mind. Main Street media completely throws Lamar in the trash can as if he didn't even matter, as if he hasn't been one of the most electrifying players in the game this year. And then Ravens flock splits completely between the Harbaugh haters and the Harbaugh supporters. Can't we all just get along? Okay, I'm still going down. What are you guys talking about? All right, Big Red says you don't advance in life by just doing what you're told. No, I agree. I agree that you have to think outside the box, but you also can't just break every rule. I got a friend in my job. I love you, Nate, but some people are habitual rule breakers and line steppers. And while innovation is there, and you can innovate and build and create off of breaking rules, but once the rule has been broken and the new thing has been formed and the new norm is there's still policy and structure that gets added to those things so that you can be successful going forward. You can't have rule breaking continually and stepping out of line with your coach, because then it creates anarchy for the entire team, because all of a sudden one player is thinking like, man, he got lippy at John and John didn't even do nothing. And the next player comes along, well, sure, if he did it, I'm going to do it. Next thing you know, you got a Brian Billick situation. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Brian did not have control of the locker room at the end. The message was stale. Yeah. And then unnecessary drama is not a need. And then when it came to the ship the last time we won, if you remember correctly, some of those guys that were fussing, they were on the defense. What did our defense look like during those playoffs? They got it done, but they also let Kaepernick have a huge comeback. Were they disciplined? Not in that second half after those lights went off and they came back on. There were a lot of slips. A lot of slips on defense. Joe Flacco really is the reason, part of the reason. The Ravens won that championship that year. He had a really trash regular season, but he had a great postseason. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was balling on offense with Anquan. There was some structure there. Sure, there was rebellion about some padded practice, but ultimately, John Harbaugh ran that ship and helped get his team to the championship. You cannot take that away from him or discredit. He has won this team a Super Bowl. Whether he had unruly minions or not, he had won this team a Super Bowl. And he can do it again as long as there's not too many distractions. All right. So Ian Graven is in the building. Yeah, this fan base, we can't handle a loss. We can't. We lose it. We lose our minds. I was on an amateur football team like this. We had guys that were, I mean, they were all out athletes, amazing. And they made a couple of mistakes in their lives. And that's probably why they didn't get to that next level. We win games, we went undefeated. We were 10-0 in this amateur football league. And I'm 30 years old. I'm too old to be fighting and stuff like that. But every time that we'd have a situation, whether it be a call that didn't go our way, or whether we lost a game, we lost a good game in the playoffs. These guys wanted to pump. They wanted to pull the trunk. They wanted to go ahead and pump the trunk so they could go ahead and get the guns out. And then they was fighting people. Of course, I had to get up out of there. But you can't have that lack of emotional flexibility when it comes to an L. You got to learn how to take an L, take your lumps, learn from it, get those experience points, and then move forward. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I am going to give anyone the opportunity to come into the room and discuss what's on your mind. I give you about 2 minutes on the podium. Speak your piece. Here is the link. So, going through, like I said, we got to be able to handle that loss. We got a celebrity in the building, by the way. Engraving is here. So y'all say what's up. All right, a lot of love for Engraving right now. Engraving is amazing, man. I tell you, he's one of the best YouTubers out there when it comes to Ravens. He's gonna keep us up to date, and anything that drops on Twitter, he's got us. He's got us covered. He's gonna find it and he's gonna give the opinions about it. He's giving you guys an opportunity to talk. So, gotta love Engraving. All right. Lots of love. Okay. They said John didn't win this team a single. How y'all gonna sit here and say that the head of the team did not help win a championship? That some of it doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Just like with Lamar. Lamar wins a game, y'all like MB3. Lamar loses a game because he's part of the team that lost the game, and then y'all will protect Lamar with your life and fight for him. Instead of saying, hey, this is part of the reasons that we lost was quarterback play. May have been some misses here. Accepting constructive feedback about what this situation was. All right. So we got to use that energy to win games. Here it is. Gerald says, I think there was a conspiracy during Super Bowl 47 when the lights went out. Honestly, I think it was a blowout, and I think, this is where there may have been a power outage. And what happens when you have a power outage and a bunch of old men who spent 3 hours warming up end up having to sit down for 30 or 40 minutes? Well, of course, they get cold. The muscles get cold. And then, of course, a lot of mistakes end up happening because that defense was old. They were old. All right. I don't know what you're shaking your head about. But they blame Hawes for every loss, but give him zero credit for the wins. Makes no sense. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So we know what we talked about so far. We talked about, we just came off a bye. We talked about how this could be a trap game. We also talked about the distractions when it comes to this team. And Deontay Johnson is, let's call it what it is, a distraction. Another distraction that I heard was that a rumor, and I'm not a big fan of this one. I don't even want to say it. In fact, I'm not going to say it. There's something that somebody said about this guy here. First, they wanted to go into the eyes. They said the eyes was purple-ish from one camera view. And maybe it was just a bad camera view. And you can see a little bit of tiredness. And maybe that's just he's grinding, he's working so hard. Maybe he does have something going on in his personal life, which I'm not going to go into because I think it's just dumb that one person says this thing and then all of a sudden it gets spread all over Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it nowadays. I think that Justin, he wanted to show that he was back and that he's better. And so he put the hard work in this past week. So I wanted to show y'all a decent looking picture of this guy to where he doesn't look like he's on drugs, because I think somebody else was like, yeah, he's doing crack or something, or he's going through X, Y, and Z. So just know he's healthy. He's good. He's fine. Let's see what else I got here. Oh, the other thing we want to get into is who's starting for the Giants. Tommy DeVito is now starting. He's expected to start against us because Drew Lock is in a walking boot due to a heel injury. That's news. So, of course, that may be a good thing for us, but it also may be a bad thing for us because this is a quarterback we don't have much tape on. And what happens when we don't have tape on, guys? We don't know what surprises they may have in store for us. So you almost got to go back to college tape. Or go back to so many, you're trying to put together small pieces of film to see what you're getting out of this guy. You got to go back to when he played Baker Mayfield to look at the tape there and see what this guy is going to bring to the table, because he's got the wide receivers. I'm going to go ahead and call it out. These guys are special. These receivers are special. Wan'Dale Robinson is one of those guys I wish the Ravens had picked up a couple of years back. He is a twitchy receiver who can do a lot after the catch. Sure, the stats aren't showing magnificent numbers, but he doesn't have the quarterback there either consistently. So when you look at Wan'Dale Robinson's numbers, this dude's got, after 13 games, 67 catches for 485 yards, and he's only got 2 touchdowns. He's got 7.2 yards per catch. But this is a guy who can move the chains. And this is one, if we don't look out for, because of the fact that, yes, we're still getting our lives together defensive-wise, and I think those defensive stats have gotten a lot better over the last 3 weeks. We are actually leading the league in certain areas, and we kind of dropped off on our run game, but we're leading the league in pass coverage, and we're doing good things there because of the fact that Tre'Davious White's in and Stevens the reps are kind of limited, but there's 3 dogs on this team for the Giants. 3 that we got to worry about. Malik Neighbors, he's like a slower Jamar Chase. I would just go ahead and call it out. This dude makes circus catches. He does a lot after the catch. He's got a very muscular upper build, so we're going to have to tackle. We really got to break down and tackle this guy. I don't care if you got to tackle him about a shoestrings, but you got to get it done, or he is going to make you pay. He is going to mosh you. He is going to stiff arm you. He is going to do what he does on those 50-50 balls. We don't want him getting opportunities for those 50-50 balls. We have got to get that pressure to where we are putting DeVito, or Tommy Vito? No, Tommy DeVito. He's got to go down. He got to get on his back. All right. So if nobody wanted to join the room, I can't believe that. I put the link in there. Anywho, let's see what y'all got to say about Tuck, because I think that's what we were last talking about. And I think y'all talking a few things here. You want to talk about Tuck? You say he looks somewhere. I get it. Like I said, y'all saw that one shot. It was a really bad shot. It's just like me. Like if I turn this light off over here, I'll show y'all something right quick. If you're in a dark room and you turn the light off, you get a whole different perspective on somebody. Because right now there's shadows underneath my eyes. And I might look like I have a little bit of a problem or something. Like maybe I need some sleep. It's just the light in the room, folks. That's all it was with Tuck. Tuck was in a room with a bad light, and everybody's going off like, oh, he looked terrible. This, that, and the other. Maybe he was working out. Maybe he was getting the grind in. Maybe y'all caught him getting off the treadmill. I don't know. All right. Big Reg, let's hear what he got to say. So I used to give Harves credit because he was a great, but you still on Harves. JT leg is aging. That's all. So Harves going to turn this thing around, and all the Harves haters, they're going to crawl right back into a hole. They're going to crawl back into a hole. Say, okay, his leg is aging. I mean, he's 35. And when it comes to legs, I don't really know the average of those kickers. But, I mean, Stover, at the end, Stover was missing 50-yard kicks just like Justin Tucker. And, of course, we had to move on. And then, of course, we moved into Billy Cundiff, and everybody knows exactly what happened there. We got our hearts broke. We don't want that to happen again, but I think Tuck still has strength in that leg. And you can see that through his kicks. His kicks are still strong. They're just not accurate. He's off a little bit. And honestly, I think it's because he lifted weights during the offseason. And so having that adjustment, it's just like going outside after you lifted weights and then trying to shoot basketball. You got to make adjustments based off of how much muscle you gained or how weak your muscles are at that particular moment because they're recovering and they're a little bit of fatigue. So you got to push a little harder in order to get that ball in the hoop. He's got to adjust. So he looks determined. Yeah, see, that look was like a look of determination. You know that he's going to recover from this. He's going to be okay. Sure, we're not going to get the 66-yarder out of him again. That's not going to happen. But if we can get some 50s, consistent 50-yarders, that's going to make it easier on this offense when they drive down and they fall short in the offense and to bring them out. We want to have that confidence. And Big Red, you might be right. His mechanics might just be off. And that is something hopefully they worked on the entire bye week. Now, what I'm hoping is that Stout was there with him. I don't want to see a stand out there if we go back and look at the tape or Hard Knocks or whatever and see Justin out there with the stand. He needs to be out there with his holder even before the game. Stout needs to be out there holding that ball. They have the snap down. The snap is fine. The hold and his execution is where they need to focus. All right. Now back to the Giants. Kenny D's talking about the running backs. He says the Giants running back is pretty good too. So yes, Tracy is a explosive running back. So if we dealt with the likes of what's his name, Chase Brown, if we're dealing with the likes of Chase Brown and we're able to contain that, we also still need to worry about someone in that similar build because Tracy can get loose and get some big gains, but we need to be able to contain that. This is, I think the last 3 weeks we were like ranked 14th against the run. And that was a small sacrifice that had to be had in order to be able to shore up some of that pass because we were giving up a buttload of pass yards in the last, before the last 3 weeks. And then we shored things up once Trey White came in and got those reps. And I think just overall as a defense, it just got better. And that's credit to Zach. Credit to Zach Orr. I'll give credit where credit is due. I trashed Zach Orr all through up to the last 3 weeks. I trashed him every single game. Couldn't stand him. Tired of our defense giving up this much. He was not prepared. So many different things. Something happened to where he was able to turn around. I don't know if that was Dean Pease just sitting there mentoring him and they figuring it out together or something. But this defense looks better. They look formidable. They look like we can go punch Kansas City in the mouth. That's what this defense looks like right now. All right. Brooks says, I hope he's okay. I'm sure he's under a tremendous amount of 9F pressure. The rumors people are making are ridiculous, though. Yes, and that's why I said I didn't mention it. He said, coincidence, huh? Coincidence. What about? I missed something. I said that delay sometimes kills me when it comes to our chats. Like I said, if anybody wants to hop in the room, I'll place that link up there one more time. Like I said, I give you about 2 minutes to speak your piece, and we can all talk about it together. All right. Gerald says Justin Tucker's redemption is coming. Yes, absolutely. I think this is going to be a big turnaround. You don't realize that there's no way but up until you've hit the bottom. And pretty much this guy, his stats, I mean, we can take a look at it. We know exactly what we're looking at here for Tucker. He missed eight field goals, 2 extra points. So in those losses, folks, we hurt. He's 2 for 7 from 50 yards. It hurts. It's really heartbreaking to see our GOAT, the guy that we knew was Otto Matt Tuck, in this condition. But we will recover, and he's going to be fine. All right, Brooks says the defense looks good. If the offense jumps on board, we are cooking. I think Marlowe. I know we can't travel because I think we're playing a little bit more zone than we are man. I know we can't travel with these guys, but or no Marlowe can't. But it would be nice to see Neighbors and Marlowe matched up for most of the game. Like we know what Wiggins gonna do. Wiggins gonna handle his. So whether he is on Slayton, who was a dog, but at the same time, I think Wiggins can handle that guy. When it comes to White can take on any of them. I'll be honest with you, he's pretty solid. He's got that experience. And he's made this defense, his secondary, look pretty good. And then the adjustments with Hamilton moving back and playing more in the back and free safety, that's made us look solid. It hurts when it comes to our blitz packages and being able to sniff out those screen passes. But I'd rather have that than get beat on the back end. Let's see here. Brooke says you and Engraven should do a show together. Yeah, I agree. I think we should. We hadn't done one in probably over 2 years. Has it been Engraven? I think 2 or 3 years. It's been a long time. I think they were cut into 2 different segments, and I think it was as I was just getting started. So, or just getting started officially, moving everything from the website and moving it over to here as far as what we do. So I agree. Engraven and I should definitely link up and do a show. Just whenever his schedule and my schedule match up, even if I can't do it on a Wednesday night because I know that he has conflicts. So I'd be all for that. But when it comes to the Giants offense, we know that the weapons are Tracy, Malik Neighbors, and of course, whoever their tight end is, because that's what Baltimore does. We lead things towards the middle of the field, trying to shirt up and not get beat on the back end. So with that said, we're looking at their tight end and saying, hey, this guy could be an issue as well, even though that tight end does not have significant play. Theo Johnson, he's got 29 catches for 331 yards and 1 touchdown. So, and then they have one other one, Daniel Bellinger, and I want to say Eric Gray. Yeah, Eric Gray's running back. So when it comes to those guys, the tight end could be a key factor in this game because that's who we give up the yards to. The tight ends just seem to eat on us every single game. They just can't eat in the red zone. So when it comes to the weapons on offense, we mentioned those. But on defense, folks, the dog that we want to avoid is Brian Burns. We wanted him when he was in Carolina, and now he is there with the Giants, wreaking havoc, has 7 sacks on the season. He is a problem. He's even got 8 passes defense. So he's knocking down passes. And we know when it comes to Lamar, he may have a beautiful target in hand, but or he has a beautiful target aimed, locked in on. But between Herbert, Herbert knocked down a lot of passes when he was at the Steelers, Herbert with the Steelers. And so they stopped a lot of our plays. This guy's going to have his hands up coming across that line. It's going to be a little bit annoying. Him and Cordell Float. So Float or Flot, Stu's got 6 passes defensed as well. So that's a cornerback. So that is probably, with the amount of passes defense, do you know is that a good thing because maybe he was targeted a lot and he gave up a lot of stuff? Or is this just a guy that we don't want to try? He actually has 0 interceptions on the season. And he's got about 30 tackles. So with him, okay, maybe that's the guy we go at. Maybe that's the guy we target. But as far as the sack monsters, yes, we got Burns with seven sacks on the season. And their next runner-up tackler or sacker would be Jason Pennick. He's a safety. So maybe they're blitzing. Maybe they're using some blitzing packages. Maybe that's something we got to look out for. And then when it comes to the Ravens and our defense, we got some sack artists here, folks. I want you to take a look at this. I heard about this a little bit earlier. So when it comes to sacks, Kyle Vanoy. We already know Kyle had 6 in the first quarter of the season. He's only had 2 since. But guess who was catching him? Guess who is catching up? Or actually, he's caught him. Owe. Adafi Owe has 8 sacks. So as much as we talk about the pressure not getting there, we are still up there in the higher echelons of the league when it comes to the sacks. Because we got Matabike, who's got 5. We got Owe with 8. We got Vanoy with 8. And then there's just role players along the way. Robinson, 3.5. Like I said, just guys who are there to just help out, to be part of this big sack attack that we got. We just got to get home. All right. So Kenny's already doing predictions, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't like trap games. I don't like games like this. I like games against monster teams because that is when the Ravens bring the A game. When it comes to the smaller teams, we're playing guys like with the name Trubisky, for instance. We can't do it. In fact, Lamar hasn't beat Trubisky. It's bad. Whether with the Colts or with the Raiders, Lamar hasn't beat him. No name quarterbacks. It is a problem for this team. We got to make his life a living heck. And yes, Kennedy, he's only lost 2 games to the NFC, but we don't need to make it a third. Kenny says, whoever the quarterback for the Giants usually will not play well. So DeVito, we're hoping that he doesn't play well. But I can tell you what he's currently got his stats right now. So he's only played in 2 games. And he's got no touchdowns. So we don't need to get that up. He's posted a 67% completion rate, though, and an 83.9 QBR in those 2 games that he's come out. So yards per attempt looks about average for the team. Of course, Lamar is like 8.7 to kind of give you an idea of an anchor point. He's 8.7 yards per attempt, and then DeVito is like 6 yards per attempt. So that give you something to think about there. Brooks says, at least Danny is gone. We can't beat him. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here he is. It ain't Cam Rue. It's a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Ingraven is here.
What's going on, man? How you doing,
man? How are you doing?
Oh, I was chilling. I was chilling in the back for a little minute, man, but it's all good, man.
All right, man. I'm sitting here yapping.
It's all good, man. It's all good, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you leaving that link so we could come through. And I ain't gonna take much of your time, man. I mean, I could take the whole night, but I ain't gonna take much of your time, man, because I could go on about these Ravens for forever, man. But man, I just gotta let everybody know, because I know with everything going on with Justin Tucker, it's ugly. Everything going on with the offensive line, not everything, but a lot going on with the offensive line. It's ugly. I know people got the way that they feel about Harbaugh. People got the way that they feel about Lamar. People got the way they feel about Monken, Zach, or all the above. But Ravens are still gonna win the Super Bowl. Straight up, man. They still win the Super Bowl. It's for a bunch of different reasons. Number one, they just love history. Ravens love history. They love repeating history. We've seen it time and time again. We already know about every 12 years how they win the Super Bowl. Every 12 years. So they did it the 2000 season, won it in 2001. They did it the 2012 season, won it in 2013. It's 12 years later, make it happen. They like winning Super Bowls down south too. They won. Well, the first one was in Tampa, I think. The next one was in New Orleans, and now they back in New Orleans again. So
I just need to see these come from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, it's on the way, man. And then of course with everything with Lamar, you already know, like Lamar Jackson with Derrick Henry middle name, his name Lamar, with Deontay Johnson. Even though like who knows how long he's gonna be a Raven for, but his middle name is like it's Lamar something. With Young Thug, he got out of jail. His name is Lamar. With the Super Bowl halftime show performer, Kendrick Lamar. It all makes too much sense, man. Ravens got this, man. Ask me. Go ahead. I got the answer for you.
We got a guy that is on our We Are the Ravens flock page ad nauseum. Mm-hmm. He is talking conspiracy and rigged. Mm-hmm. The 2 words that he keeps using, and he tries to pull up proof, but half of it is not. It's not relevant. Jose Diaz. I'm gonna go ahead and call him out.
Rigged for what?
He keeps saying that the league, the NFL, is rigged, and that the Ravens will win the Super Bowl. Trust me. At the beginning of the season, he said the Chiefs will go undefeated until they get to the AFC Championship. Then they will lose to the Ravens in the AFC Championship, and the Ravens will win the Super Bowl. He said that he's seen the script. He has a friend who's seen the script, and he preaches this continually ad nauseum to where I'm just like, dude, do I block this guy? Do I block him? I'm like, Brooke, should I block him?
No, don't block him. Just watch him for consistency. If he said the Chiefs were going to go undefeated to the AFC Championship game, well, he obviously got that wrong already. Yeah. So for me, I know that saying is if somebody show you who they are, then let them. And if he said, okay, it's rigged for the Ravens to win, and then this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And if those things happen, great. If those things didn't happen, well, it doesn't make you look so good then. But hey, if the NFL want to rig it for the Ravens to win, no problem, man. We celebrate.
Don't ruin it like somebody told me about wrestling back in the day. That was like somebody telling me that Saturday wasn't real. When I found out WWE wasn't real, it hurt.
Well, hold up. Because I'll even do you one better with WWE and all that.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not real, but it's scripted.
Yeah, it's scripted.
Because
Yes.
those guys get hurt, they
Yeah.
get injured.
Yeah, they put their bodies on the line.
And you know what's crazy is that with WWE and stuff, I once I found out that it was scripted, I actually after it took a little while. When I first found out, I was like, oh my goodness, but 'cause I was a kid. But after a while, I gained a newfound respect for them because these dudes, they are athletes, they are really strong, but they gotta be performers too. Like they gotta put on a show, they gotta be able to talk on the mic, they gotta be good act, they gotta do a lot of stuff.
I don't
with
know about
WWE.
good acting, but they kind of
Some of them. There's some of them that's not, but there's some of them that are. But yeah, man, it's a lot, man. Then they go on to, a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but the biggest ones, they go on to be actors and whatnot in Hollywood and all that. But anyway, back to the Ravens. Yeah, it's going down, man. It's happening for the Baltimore Ravens this year. And then I know you were just talking about Harbaugh earlier, and I get it. I get why a lot of people are done with Harbaugh. A lot of people are over Harbaugh. I get it. I understand it. I said last year, I felt, and there's been not even just last year, but then been prior years too, where I felt like the Ravens should have been moved on from John Harbaugh a long time ago. But I'm like, all right, you're gonna stick with Harbaugh. Okay, cool. Harbaugh ain't going nowhere. We could have 20 million conversations about John Harbaugh. We will have 20 million conversations about John Harbaugh. We'll continue to talk about him, good, bad, give him his credit when he does good, talk about when he makes bad decisions too. But bottom line is John Harbaugh is not going anywhere. You can call for him to get fired, you can call for him to get released, you can call for him for this, that, and the third. Harbaugh ain't going nowhere unless he does it on his own terms. There's no scenario, in my opinion, where I see John Harbaugh being released, being let go, being fired.
Like, who's going to share the fence with him? They gotta work on the fence together. Him and EDC, they share a fence, man.
That's true, because Ravens, and it's for better or for worse, but Ravens are a very loyal organization. They're a very tight-knit family organization, and that can be a great thing. That can also be a frustrating thing.
Horrible thing. Zach Orr was a nepotism thing, and it drove me up the wall initially. Because there were so many other qualified candidates out there. And I feel like some of those ones that left to other teams, they were a little frustrated because they knew that was the move that John Harbaugh was going to make. Like when it comes to the defensive backs coach who left.
Denard Wilson, I think.
Yeah. That was one of those. When it comes to like we lost so many pieces because of the fact that Harbaugh knew who his guy was, but there were other guys who were key cogs of the system who had been there for a while. And I think in the past it happened with a running back coach in the past with ours as well. He felt that he was overlooked. And so he went to another team. It's just like, oh, Harvs, I know you got your guys, but there's talent that we have to look at too that we're letting walk out the door.
That's real right there, because some like nepotism or favoritism, we love it when it's in favor for us. But when it's not, we hate it.
Exactly. Like you see the pitchforks come out. Like right now, the pitchforks are out with Harbaugh. But as soon as we get a W underneath our belt, they'll quiet down a little bit.
A little bit. Now, I do respect people that are consistent, for better or for worse, because I've known some people who've been talking about Harbaugh all year, start to finish, whether the Ravens win or whether the Ravens lose.
Like I ain't even gotta look at the show to know that it's LBHT. They're my guys. I love them, but they ready for Harbaugh. They've been ready for Harbaugh.
Yeah. They've been off Harbaugh for a long time, man. But with when it comes to Harbaugh, though, like I just feel like a big reason that a lot of Ravens fans are over him is because we keep seeing the same old stuff. We keep seeing repeat issues over and over and over. What are John Harbaugh's biggest issues? I know playoffs, but like you mentioned, it ain't just Harbaugh who shares all of the blame when it comes to the playoffs. It's on the players too. It's on execution as well. So it's a little bit of everybody. But a lot of people feel like this team has underachieved for years under John Harbaugh with the message that he's preaching, with the lessons that he is teaching to these Baltimore Ravens. A lot of fans feel like John Harbaugh has just underachieved, and the Ravens should have had a lot more success than they've had.
Probably feel like that Hard Knocks exposed a little bit at it as well.
I ain't watched a single episode yet.
I hadn't watched. I keep hearing about it on Twitter. They keep trying to compare Harbaugh to Tomlin, but it's two different mentalities of coaching.
I do see that. I've seen that a lot on Twitter. So I can't jump into those conversations because I haven't watched a single episode yet. I don't got HBO Max, so I did see somebody posted the first episode on YouTube though.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those things. You know somebody they're gonna record it and they're gonna upload it to their chat. You know how it goes. But
if it's there, I might have to go back tonight and watch that.
but
I get it for free. You definitely get it.
Yeah, exactly, man. With Harbaugh, the thing with him, another conversation that a lot of people have, and I want to get your take on this. If Harbaugh were to, we know he won't, but if Harbaugh were to resign or were to be fired, do you think somebody could come in and be successful with the Baltimore Ravens?
Honestly, I think this would be more of a dark ages time for the Ravens. I mean, Lamar is still going to be exceptional, but when it comes to putting an entire team together, it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be almost like Zach Orr, but on both sides of the ball. We're trying to figure out identity after that because we don't have Henry for long,
right?
And then we're sitting here looking at an offense that we got wide receivers now, and now we're going to sit here and change the scheme up to try and incorporate them with what Lamar does, and maybe it does Monken stay because Monken is one of the hot coaching candidates this year, so we lose Monken, so that would be Harbaugh and Monken both gone, and then we got Orr, and we're like, do we want to keep Orr? So it would be almost like we're going to go through we're going to hit some lumps before we get that consistency from whoever comes in as the next coach. And honestly, I mean, I'd probably just tick off the Steelers and call up their former coach and be like, "Hey, come on to town."
Which one? Not Bill Cowher. Who you talking about?
Yeah, I'd probably call Bill Cowher.
Okay.
Yeah. I call Bill Cowher. I'd be like, you know what? Hey, man, if you ever felt anything for this organization or for your old organization, you wanted a little get back, come over here. Come on across the river, man.
Now, I will. You did make some good points, especially about like how new coaching staff would have to come in here, and it could take them some time to get acclimated and whatnot, and get everybody adjusted to their scheme that they will be running. But I feel differently than you do on that matter. Like, if a coach, I feel like if a coach were to come into the Baltimore Ravens, I feel like that would almost be like almost a dream situation. Because a dream situation like for a coach, because you have a franchise like because of the Baltimore Ravens cornerstone players that they have already. You have your quarterback already, Lamar Jackson. You have, say for instance, just using that as an example, it's not going to happen, but as an example, if it were to happen next year, with Derrick Henry, you would have to redo his contract because all his guaranteed money this year, he ain't going to play on no non-guaranteed 1-year deal. But you could have Derrick Henry, so that'd be nice, and that would be a short-term type of thing. You got Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. You could add to that, of course. You got Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Your offensive line, that's a little shaky. I mean, you got Tyler Linderbaum under contract, but other than that, it's a little shaky.
They got to pay to get 2 guards. They got to get 2.
Yeah, I agree. But then on defense, you got Matt Abike taken care of. You got Kyle Hamilton. And with Tyler Linderbaum, you gotta pay both of them like real soon. But absolutely. you got those guys for now. But I just feel like with everything that the Baltimore Ravens have in place, like their cornerstone guys, the guys that are going to be here, that as a coach, I feel like it would be hard for him to fail if he walked into the Baltimore Ravens, because you mentioned Lamar Jackson. That's a big catalyst right there. But even a lot of the other people that we mentioned too, like they have some really good players. And I know a lot of people get on EDC for how you assemble these rosters, and I did the same thing too until last year. Last year, like, nope, them losing the AFC Championship game, that ain't on EDC at all. That they ain't got nothing to do with EDC.
He put in the personnel. He put in personnel to get them to where they were.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job last year. I always tell people, like, last year was an EDC. He really earned my trust. Now this year, he I don't want to say lost it, but it's a little shaky right now because of what they did. Because I feel like the Baltimore Ravens, they did malpractice this offseason. They ran some really, really risky business, especially for a team that was just 1 game away from being in the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. Because you mentioned with Zach Orr, like, you were getting on him, I was getting on him too, because I'm like, man, like we still got all this not all the same defensive players, because Geno Stone gone, Jadeveon Clowney gone, but we got Patrick Queen gone, but we got like the core of defensive guys, especially on every level. Matt Abike up front, and Michael Pierce too, Roquan Smith. and then Marlon Humphrey, then Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Smith. Like, I'm not like, no, we lost some guys, we're gonna be straight. That defense was looking rough. But it's like with the reason I say they did malpractice and they ran risky business because you were one game away from the one game away from the Super Bowl last year. And then you run a new defensive coordinator that's never been a defensive coordinator before, ever. It's like, oh, that's risky business. But
very
you talked about the nepotism earlier and the favoritism. And again, that's part of life. It happens. Like I said earlier, we love it when it happens to us. When it doesn't happen for us, we despise it. So, but it is what it is.
That put that hate spectrum up there. If you look on the screen here, that we was on that fire somebody. Where we at? I mean, when Zach was at, I'd say fire somebody would probably been Zach Orr right in there. And then you had I mean, we just were very angry that season to where we were close to throw the team in the trash at one point. Fire Harbs is a lot where everybody's at, kind of at right now.
Yeah.
And it is just so frustrating watching this continuum be a real thing of hate. And if you look, I got Deontay on there now, down at the bottom in the middle. He's on there. We got Stevens, we got the Sheets. I mean, that hate continuum is real.
Yeah. You know how it goes. You see it every single day. But another thing they did too, that was very, very risky and very questionable was you were just one game away from the Super Bowl last year. You had the MVP of the NFL last year, and you decided, you know what? We are going to just completely revamp this offensive line, and we are going to put two players as starters who have never started at these positions in the NFL a day in their life.
Yeah, I feel like Ben Cleveland, they did an injustice to him. I mean, I get that Linderbaum was hurt and they needed somebody to get those reps in the center, but it should have been the second that Linderbaum was healthy, Cleveland should have been moved over to that right guard. He showed in the past some games where he was able to put together consistency in the ground game. We know that he's a force. He's a strong force on the ground. He's an anchor in the pass game. There were times when he was out there kind of looking for work, but for the most part, I think Cleveland was the option, was the reason why we sent why we sent Zeitler to the Lions, or we let him walk off. I feel like that was one of the main reasons because we knew we had something there. And I know I was okay with Voorhees, on the left guard. I was fine with that. And we knew that we had Macari as that option, as that good back. He was basically a Swiss Army knife that we could put him in multiple places and he'd be okay. So I'm okay with him on that left guard for now. Let's get those reps in, get back to where he was before. But when it comes to the right guard for LA, it's up and down. It's so up and down. Like you'll see a game he puts together and you're like, okay, that's the game. I saw maybe two of those this season. But outside of those two games, it has been, man, for LA, it's so tough to watch because you see a big guy who's running, but he's not putting hands on people. Or he's running and he's trying to block with his arms and his feet aren't underneath him and they're sliding past him because he doesn't have those feet underneath him. It is so tough to watch Daniel Faalele.
Yeah, it's been rough with Faalele, man. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, the two guards. I really thought when they drafted Ben Cleveland that he was gonna be the future of the offensive line, and then every year that passed and we still had him, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna get a shot eventually. But he just never did. And then I even remember like this offseason, I was thinking that they were gonna just get rid of him. If they weren't gonna use him, they were gonna get rid of him, but they didn't. They kept him around. And yeah,
the doghouse, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. For sure.
Chris McAllister is still in there. Bernard Pierce. I mean, I'm still looking for those guys. I miss them. They still hide in his basement, man. He feeds them a little water and crackers here and there.
Yeah, he don't play. I mean, Eddie Jackson is another one. Marcus Williams. I mean, it's
Tanner Doss might still be down there. I'm not sure.
Oh, shout out to Tanner Doss. NFL, not for long, man.
No, not for long. You mess up on Hards, it is a wrap. I don't know what Ben Cleveland did, but
it's weird.
Bro. Just apologize.
let me ask you because I'm sure y'all probably talked about it, but I got in late. What's your take on the whole situation with Deontay Johnson?
So my take on Deontay, and I showed these a little bit earlier. I think this guy's got a history. He's got a history. Back in 2022, he was more of a poison for the Steelers, showing that frustration. There's a point to where there's passion, and then there's poison. And you got to look at, is he a passion or is he a poison for the team? And right now, he's kind of a poison. And I get that, he's frustrated because he didn't get the reps. But when he's allowed to be the hero, this is his opportunity. Hey, come be the hero for this team because Rashad is hurt. We need you. And you say, nah, bro, I'm good. That hurt the team.
Now, I don't know when it was, but would it possibly change your tune on that if you knew exactly when it was that he was asked to go into the game?
I think it was towards the end of the game, right?
No, I don't know when it was. That's what I say. I don't know. But if we did know, would that change your tune? Like if it was when Rashad Bateman first got hurt, it's like, all right, Deontay, you go in. Or if it was like toward the very, very end of the game, like 2 minutes left or something like that, when the game wasn't out of reach, but it was pretty much out of reach. Would that change your tune on how you felt about the situation?
No, because I kind of think about it like, all right, if we're here for the team, but also if we're here to try and look at how I can show how I can fit into this team and what type of things that we can put together for this next opportunity to get on the field. This is my time to show John that, hey, I'm not just this fifth string guy. I am a target. I am a beast. I was running things in Carolina, and now is my time to show you what I'm capable of, because what y'all seen from me currently hasn't been special. It hasn't been what y'all brought me in for. Now I get an opportunity to get on this field, but I'm a little hurt, And I get the hurt part, because when you're, like I've been telling everybody, wide receivers equals diva, and you have to feed that energy that comes along with those wide receivers. You have to let them know like how they're being put into the game, how they're going to be used, that they're going to be used. Yeah. What did Hollywood say? When I have soldiers on the field, you ain't going to use them.
There they
probably got that mentality right now, like, oh man, I'm a soldier that's not being used. And so that pride swelled up in him. And then when his number got called, he doesn't go in. And that's where the frustration for both sides could come through.
Oh yeah, and it certainly did, man. You could you could tell, like, I think it was the press conference either the right after the game or the day after the game, when Harbaugh was like, oh yeah, we'll talk about that later. He said, I don't have all the information on Deontay Johnson right now. That's what he said. It's like, because sometimes Harbaugh would give you some one-liners, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how you feeling about that. But
so here's Kenny D with some with the note here. He says Deontay got into a locker room fight with Minka, and after that, it was a matter of time. So I don't know if you know, but Kenny D is a resident Steelers fan out there. Yeah. And so he knows a few, and I was able to find that as well. But I found 12 different incidents.
You said what?
12. Because first I was like, all right, let me just go scouring the internet, see what I can find. Whatever. It was just like one after another. Skipping practice, lackadaisical, the fumble joint where he just he saw the fumble and he just kept
stood there, right?
Walking along and like, screw this, and I'm staying here, and they're running. Okay, cool. It was just like business decisions being made. I'm like, oh my goodness. The fight where he ended up getting the quarterback benched for the rest of that game. I don't know if it was the rest of the game or the rest of the season. There was multiple incidents. Then, of course, Carolina, he was being frustrated over there and skipping practice. It was just a lot of incidents that led up to this. And they said it was like, these are things that were written by beat reporters and Last Word on Sports and stuff. But they said that those were things that just slipped. I'm wondering how many other incidents happened with these wide receivers. And this isn't the first case when it comes to Steelers wide receivers. They got a diva in-house right now who making business decisions with good old George over there. So Georgia boy has been, he's a diva. He want to be fed because he knows he's a dog, but he wants to be fed all the time. He wants those opportunities, and when he don't get them, you're gonna hit his mouth. He's going to be frustrated. But also, in the past, you saw where he wasn't there for the team because he was making business decisions on blocking. And then, of course, we know AB. we already know AB got that CTSPN going on right now, to where he was a major headache because of the amount of pride. So the Steelers are able to develop those wide receivers, but once they start feeling themselves, they cannot calm that pride. It becomes the majority of everything that they do is that pride.
Well, I
What are your thoughts on it, man? With Deontay?
With I get both sides. Because with Deontay, the expectation when the Ravens traded for him, I was thinking, okay, especially when Jacina Anderson reported it too. She was like, no, he's not going to take the place of Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman. He's going to really take the place of the Nelson Aguilar. So be Ravens sort of their third receiver. I'm like, okay, cool. I ain't got no problem with that. That'd be nice depth. That'll upgrade the quality of the depth, upgrade the quality of the position at wide receiver. Okay, straight. So, and then I didn't expect him to just come over to the Ravens and after the trade and be on it right away. I expected there to be a ramp up period, but we didn't get anything. We didn't see anything. He was out there for a couple of snaps here and there, but we didn't really see anything. So I can understand it from Deontay Johnson's side of things, where it's like, hey, why would you trade for me if you're not going to do anything with me? Now, we don't know what happens at practice or what doesn't happen at practice. So it could be something that, hey, maybe we're not seeing. But from our perspective as fans, the trade looked pointless. Yeah, they got him for pretty much free, super low salary. But the trade looked pointless because they ain't been using him. Another thing, too, I can understand his frustration is because he's in a contract year. He's trying to get paid.
Trying to get that money. And he's only got a couple opportunities, 3 left.
Oh, yeah, because he's suspended for this next game. Yeah, so he could be thinking like, man, like I'm so frustrated at these dudes. They're not even using me. So you know what? Oh, when they called him on that Eagles game, no thanks. I'm not going in. But then on the Baltimore, so that's how I understand Deontay Johnson's side, because he could feel like, man, this is such a waste of time. They wasting my career and they messing with my money. You know, when people mess with your money, you get
a little salty. You know, you get a little person there. No, somebody mess with mine, I'd be hot.
Exactly. So from the Ravens side, I get it from their side because they like, hey, Deontay Johnson, we acquired you. You're a wide receiver. You're on the team. You're on an active roster. You active on game day. You ain't one of them 7 inactives. We need you out here. So just be ready. When your number's called, all right, you got to go do your thing. We called your number. Hello, Deontay, what's up? Are you ready? Like, he said, no, I ain't going in. So I can understand the frustration on their part because they're like, okay, when we finally do want to use you, then you're not doing nothing. Like, come on now. But in this situation, the Baltimore Ravens, they literally have all of the power. Deontay Johnson has no power in this situation. Ravens have all of the power. He could request to be released. He could try to sit out. He could do so many things, but
he can request. It's not going to do anything for him. It's just like with the Steelers and when they had Le'Veon Bell, they had all the chips at their table. They do that, and that's kind of with us. We know what we have here, and we're not going to give him an opportunity to go make another team better.
So Ravens
got some more sources here. He says one source told ESPN that Johnson, the Steelers' second leading receiver, continued chirping at the coaches all the way to the locker room, where Fitzpatrick, a 3-time all-time. Okay, so he's got some more facts about the past. He say began arguing with Johnson. The words between Johnson and Fitzpatrick became heated, according to another source, before Hayward and Watt interviewed and prevented the situation from getting worse. And there was other situations where he was actually carried away from a coach because he was so hot. with the coaches. I'm like, when you got a grown man picking you up and walking you off, you might be a little bit of a toxic person.
Yeah, he look like one of them little bad kids, man.
Yes. Oh man.
Crazy. That's tough though, man. So yeah, we'll see. Like Brookie just said, he got 3 games to ball. So ball. I mean, we'll see. Everything depends on everything. Depends on the his opportunities. Depends on him too. Like it's gonna start next week in practice. So we'll see. We'll see. It depends on if the Ravens even keep him around. I think that they will, because I think that right there, it's an ego thing. It's an ego thing and a power trip. But also, I don't think they want to look stupid. I don't think they want to look at this trade and be like, all right, we traded for him. Yeah, we got him for nothing, but we're still trying to get that comp pick in 2 years. So I think they don't want to lose out on that at all. So we'll see what happens, man.
They just got to figure out how they're going to incorporate him in next week. I think like finding that one play that is going to be, hey, we know this is the Deontay play, and celebrating him. celebrate him once he makes this play and makes it big. Because those pats on the head, that recognition, it does something for those more diva-like players. When you celebrate those victories for them, they feel like they're part of the team. I think that's where he needs to feel that he's part of the covenant.
Yeah.
That he is going to be protected just like everybody else in this organization and respected like everybody else in this organization. If he feels that, then we good. But if he don't feel that when he get back, we're going to have some problems.
Yeah, we already got enough problems as is, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you allowing me to come up on and talk some Ravens with you real quick, man.
No problem, man. It's been great, man. It's just I'm about to wrap this thing up because I'm about to head on this bed. Do me a few more 100 days until I retire and be happy.
That's what's up, man. But be easy. I'm gonna go back to the background now. Appreciate you again, man.
Hey, man. You take care of yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. You too, man.
Let's see here. All right, so we'll read a few comments here. Brooke has let me know. She said that was dope for him coming on the scene. So thank you again, Graven. And then Brooke has also reminded me that we are way past the time limit, but it was well worth it because we had such an amazing guy. Just a great character, a great person. Come on the scene, wishing much love to his family and everything else because Ingraven is just awesome, So, take the time out, look at his videos, and definitely ask those questions because he does provide the answers that you need when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. I just want to say thanks for y'all coming through. Y'all continue to have me falling off the couch every single week. I'm very much appreciative of the love that has been shared in this room and the comments and the jokes and all that because we make it a good time. Miss Camrou, he said he had it was something about fight night tonight. Let's see. He said he lost track of time. It was fight night at the gym. So good times. Hopefully this Sunday we'll be hearing a lot of this go down.
Touchdown, Ravens! Let's go.
And maybe a lot more of this too.
Ravens, first down.
Well, yeah, I just want to throw those graphics out there because I didn't put them up in a very long time. We'll read these last 3 comments and we'll call it a night. So Kennedy says good night. Easy victory, what he says. Gerald says that was awesome. Don't jinx us, Kenny. And Brooke says good night, y'all. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the home of Original Sports Perspective from our couch to yours. Hey, do us a favor. If you like the show, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and smack that bell so you know when it's going down. Hey, thanks for coming through. Give me 2 claps. Fade to black.
Introducing the Couch Rider Raven Report. Let's go. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out.
For some of you Twitter gangsters, this is just a hobby, original sports perspective. You can't stop me. Couch Rider Report, it's reflective. Please respect it. You will get checked, and your knowledge will be tested. I ain't the coldest Raven, but this is my show. Shout out to the Barry White rap for the beat, though.